Could your quiet, seemingly ordinary neighbor be harboring a dark secret? It's a thought that can send chills down your spine. As we navigate through the labyrinth of human nature, we often stumble upon stories that make us question the very essence of humanity. One such story is that of Jeffrey Dahmer. On the surface, he was just another face in the crowd, but behind closed doors, he was anything but ordinary. This is the chilling story of Jeffrey Dahmer, a man who lived a double life. Jeffrey Dahmer, born in 1960 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, appeared to be just an ordinary child. His early years were marked by what many would consider a typical suburban childhood. Born to Lionel and Joyce Dahmer, Jeffrey was the first of two sons in a family that, on the surface, seemed to embody the American dream. Lionel, a chemist, and Joyce, a teletype machine instructor, provided a comfortable life for their sons in the heartland of America. However, beneath this veneer of normality, there were disturbing undercurrents. Dahmer was a quiet, introverted child who preferred solitary activities. He had a deep fascination with animals, but not in the way most children do. Instead of playing with pets or observing wildlife, Dahmer was drawn to the macabre. He collected roadkill and dissected the carcasses, captivated by the mechanics of life and death. His parents, despite their best efforts, struggled to understand their son's peculiar interests. Dahmer's obsession with death and dissection was not a passing phase but a growing fixation. This fixation was further intensified by the separation of his parents when he was 14. The marital discord and eventual divorce created a tumultuous home life, adding an additional layer of instability to Dahmer's already fragile psyche. His fascination evolved into a morbid curiosity that began to dictate his actions. Dahmer's behaviors started to deviate from the norm, leading to isolation from his peers. His classmates recalled him as a loner, someone who kept to himself and rarely engaged with others. Despite these early warning signs, no one could have predicted the extent of the darkness that lurked within him. His interests, once confined to animals, began to spill over into his interactions with humans. Dahmer's fascination with death and dissection started to blur the lines between curiosity and compulsion. His unusual behaviors were not just signs of a troubled child, but harbingers of the heinous acts that would later make him one of the most infamous serial killers in American history. But this seemingly normal child was about to embark on a path that would shock the world. As Dahmer grew older, his fascination with death took a terrifying turn. This wasn't just an eerie obsession anymore, it was becoming a deadly passion that would soon consume him. Dahmer's descent into criminal activities began subtly, almost imperceptibly. He started with small acts of cruelty, often involving animals, that gradually escalated into more severe transgressions. These early misdemeanors were but a grim foreshadowing of the atrocities he would later commit. His first murder was, in many ways, a chilling testament to his growing depravity. It wasn't a crime of passion or a rash act of violence, instead it was a calculated act, coldly executed with a disturbing level of precision. Dahmer was just 18 when he committed this horrific act, marking the beginning of a terrifying journey into darkness. But it wasn't just the murders that shocked and horrified, it was also Dahmer's method of luring his victims that added an extra layer of dread to his actions. He was cunning, charming in a sinister way, able to draw people into his web with ease. He preyed on the vulnerable, the unsuspecting, using their trust against them in the most horrific way imaginable. Dahmer's modus operandi was chillingly effective. He would lure his victims with promises of money or a good time, only to betray their trust in the most brutal way. Once he had them in his clutches, there was no escape. His victims were trapped, manipulated, and ultimately murdered in cold blood. And with each passing year, Dahmer's crimes escalated in their gruesome nature. His fascination with death, initially just a morbid curiosity, had now morphed into a full-blown obsession. He didn't just want to kill, he wanted to control, to possess, to dominate. His victims weren't just casualties, they were objects, trophies of his twisted desires. And so, Dahmer's descent into darkness continued, a descent that would lead him further and further away from humanity, towards a realm of monstrous deeds and unspeakable horrors. A descent that would ultimately earn him a place in the annals of true crime as one of the most notorious serial killers of all time. With each passing year, Dahmer's crimes escalated in their gruesome nature. In 1991, the horrifying truth about Dahmer's double life was finally uncovered. What had been concealed behind an ordinary apartment door in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, was far beyond the realm of the ordinary. Dahmer's monstrous secret was brought to light in a chilling discovery that would shake the nation. On that fateful day in July, two police officers were led to apartment 213 by Tracy Edwards, a man who had narrowly escaped Dahmer's clutches. As they stepped into the cramped and foul-smelling apartment, they were met with a sight that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. Amidst the clutter and filth, they found photographs of dismembered bodies, a disturbing testament to Dahmer's heinous acts. The investigation that followed was as grueling as it was shocking. Forensic teams meticulously combed through the apartment, unearthing gruesome evidence of Dahmer's crimes. The sheer magnitude of the horrors that lay within those four walls was staggering. They found skulls, preserved body parts, and photographs that captured the brutality of his crimes. Dahmer's apartment was not just a home, but a macabre gallery of his twisted obsession. As the trial unfolded, the world watched in morbid fascination. Dahmer himself seemed almost indifferent to the proceedings, confessing to his crimes with a chilling calmness. The courtroom was filled with a palpable sense of dread as he described his actions in graphic detail. One by one he admitted to the 17 murders he had committed over 13 years, each admission more horrifying than the last. The revelations from the trial painted a chilling picture of a man consumed by his darkest desires. Dahmer's deeds were not just acts of violence, but a disturbing exploration of his own twisted fantasies. The world was left reeling as it grappled with the horrifying reality of what one man was capable of. This was the moment when the world came face to face with the horrifying reality of Jeffrey Dahmer. The gruesome discovery in apartment 213 was more than just a crime scene. It was a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of ordinary lives. Dahmer's heinous crimes left an indelible mark on his victims, their families, and society as a whole. The magnitude of the horror he unleashed was such that it reverberated far beyond the confines of his apartment. In the immediate aftermath, families were left grappling with the unimaginable. They had to endure the double-edged sword of grief, dealing with the loss of their loved ones and the gruesome manner of their passing. The haunting images of their children, brothers and partners forever etched in the public's memory. But the ripples of Dahmer's actions didn't stop there. They extended into the very fabric of society, sparking conversations about mental health, the nature of evil, and the extent to which the human mind can descend into darkness. His case became a case study, a grim reminder of the depths to which humanity can sink. Law enforcement and the judicial system were not untouched. Dahmer's case exposed glaring gaps in police procedures and prompted a critical reevaluation. His ability to evade capture for so long raised questions about the effectiveness of investigation techniques, leading to significant changes. The introduction of new protocols and improved training were just a few of the ways the system sought to ensure a case like Dahmer's would not slip through the cracks again. The media, too, played a significant role in the aftermath. Dahmer's crimes were splashed across newspapers and television screens, igniting a media frenzy that raised ethical questions about the line between public interest and sensationalism. This case forced a rethinking of how such stories are reported, leading to changes in journalistic standards and practices. In the end, Jeffrey Dahmer became more than just a man. He became a symbol of the darkest corners of human nature, a grim testament to the potential for evil that can reside within us. His actions left a lasting impression, causing a seismic shift in how we view crime, punishment, and the human mind. Jeffrey Dahmer's case serves as a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of ordinary life. So we return to our opening question. Could your quiet, seemingly ordinary neighbor be harboring a dark secret? As we reflect back on the chilling tale of Jeffrey Dahmer, it becomes painfully clear that this question is far from a mere conjecture. Dahmer, a seemingly average man, hid a sinister secret beneath his ordinary exterior. His story is a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the most unexpected places, within the people we least suspect. Dahmer's tale is not just a story of a man gone astray, but a harsh wake-up call. It underscores the importance of vigilance and awareness in our communities. It's a reminder that we should never overlook or dismiss the signs of someone in distress, or potentially dangerous. We should be aware, not just for our own safety, but for the well-being of those who may be suffering in silence, hidden behind the facade of normality. These crimes are not just the result of a single man's actions, but a symptom of a society that often turns a blind eye to the signs of distress until it's too late. We must strive to be more alert, more aware, and more understanding, in hopes of preventing such horrific events from happening again. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.